Hello, everyone. Welcome to the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance webinar. We are so glad you are able to join us today. I'm going to give a few minutes, as we always do, to give all of the participants a moment to join the webinar. If you are here, please be so kind to drop your name and organization in the chat so we can see who's with us today. Thank you for joining the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance webinar. Hello, Katie. Joining us from Columbus, Ohio, from Impact Community Action. Thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance webinar. I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. It is a pleasure to have you all with us today. I'm going to give a few more seconds for others to join. Thank you for joining. Hello, Jim, Liz, Deborah, Sandra, Brianna. Thank you so much for joining us today. Michelle, you can go to the next slide. We'll go ahead and get started. I am Janelle Hill, Senior Director of Equitable Workforce Programs with the Interstate Renewable Energy Council. IREC is a national nonprofit working to accelerate the growth of clean energy and energy efficiency. We do this through state regulatory reform, local initiatives programs, and workforce development. Local initiative programs helps communities adapt to resilient energy solutions, and the workforce development program focuses on building connections among job seekers, students, employers, education providers, and community-based organizations. We also provide technical assistance to advance innovative workforce development solutions, as well as award national recognized credentials to clean energy training programs. Next slide, please, Michelle. Welcome again. Here are a few ground rules and notes. Nothing earth-shattering, but just want to let you know that closed captioning is enabled. Listeners are to remain on mute, please. I wish I can be on mute right now because my dog is barking in the background. If you have a dog, you know what I mean. Use the QA tab to send any questions in. We have a dynamic presenter today, so I'm sure there are questions. Please place them in a in the QA tab. Artificial intelligence is not accepted in any of the IREC meetings. So if you have an AI note taker or a bot participation, it will likely be removed. This question always comes up in the webinars. We will send you a copy of this presentation and other follow-up resources if available after this webinar. You can go to the next slide, please, Michelle. Today's agenda will include a brief update on Alliance activities, some work that the Interstate Renewable Energy Council is participating in, and then we'll have the featured presentation, which is titled Empowering the Next Generation of Energy Leaders. After which, as usual, we'll have a moment for you all to ask questions, and we will indulge in a Q&A session the last 30 minutes of the webinar. As stated before, I am Janelle Hill, Senior Director of Equitable Workforce Strategies, and we also have on the call, and the workforce team is being led by Dr. Cynthia Finley, who is the Vice President of Workforce and Strategic innovation here at IREC. Our featured presenter is Geraldine, I'm going to butcher this name, Contreras Hamarina.
You
Feel
got it.
free to oh, good, yay! Who is Associate Director of Career Paths and Talent Development from Unite LA. Thank you for that, Geraldine. You can go to the next slide, please. And if you're on this webinar, you're likely to know good workforce development. You can go to the next slide, please, Michelle. Doesn't happen by accident. In order to rapidly scale a diverse and sustainable clean energy workforce, we need to leverage best practices. And that's what we try to do and intend to do through the webinars with the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance. We'll share resources and create strong partnerships. We really work to connect the dots and address the clean energy workforce development more holistically by focusing on every aspect of workforce development, from new learner and worker recruitment to employer development and retention of employees. You can go to the next slide, please, Michelle. We do all of this work through these areas: training, education, and credentialing, funding and program design, recruitment and support of workers and learners, and through employer recruitment and retention. Those are our strategic areas of focus for the Alliance. You can go to the next slide, please. Some great things are happening on our Green Workforce Connect platform. We are connecting job seekers, employers, training providers, and contractors to support highly trained and inclusive energy workforce. We have recently integrated solar into the Green Workforce Connect platform. So please scan the QR code, go there and check out all of the amazing resources we have on this platform. You can go to the next slide, please. You can also scan this QR code. I'm sure Avery is dropping links in the chat. You can scan this QR code to sign up for our newsletter. We also have a LinkedIn page. So please join us there and follow all of the great work and keep up to date by subscribing to both of those, the LinkedIn page and the newsletter. You can go to the next slide, please, Michelle. Lastly, we need you. IREC is conducting research for a study funded by the U.S. Department of Labor in partnership with the Urban Institute for information about information technology workforce needs in the renewable energy sector. We are looking for a few more clean energy employers to participate in voluntary interviews. If you are interested, please contact Claire. Her email address is in this slide. And we're looking for quotes. Quotes from the interview will remain anonymous, and the interview itself should not take more than an hour. So if this is you, or if you know of someone that can help us with this study, please forward this information to them, and I'll make sure this information is in the chat as well. I will now move out the way so that we can hear from our featured presenter, Geraldine. I'll turn it over to you. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Hills Thomas. Really appreciate being here this afternoon. Good afternoon to all. Good morning to those on the West Coast still. My name is Geraldine Contreras Jaimerena. I am Associate Director of Career Pathways here at Unite LA. My role, I'll share a little bit more here about our organization shortly, but my role entails supporting our workforce development team, specifically in our STEAM Pathways programming. On my end, my scope of work entails managing the LA Cleantech Career Academy, which we will be learning about here today, sharing with you, as well as providing the youth that we serve, ages 16 to 24, working with them around their job readiness, work readiness skill sets. So, what does that mean? That's supporting our youth as they prepare to pursue internship employment opportunities, ensuring that they have the essential skill sets to do well, to succeed in the placement, and to do well as contributing. Members, right, in the workplace. And that comes in the form of resume building, their professional communication skill sets, how they present themselves in person, on social media, via email communication, and then also working with their interviewing skill set. So I'll share a little bit more how this work comes into play as we keep moving forward here. But really excited to be here with all of you today. Looking forward to showcase more on the LA Cleantech Career Academy. But before we do so, I do want to share and provide you some context in regards to our organization here at Unite LA. So with that, if we can move on to the next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So to share here with you, Unite LA, we are a education workforce development nonprofit based in the greater Los Angeles area. We have been in operation since 1998, so over 25 years of work here in our local community. Our work is really centered on advancing cradle through career outcomes, developing career pathways in areas of high growth industries, as well as ensuring that through our programming, the youth, young adults that we're serving have access to greater economic mobility. So with that, to give you a sense here, I shared our goal again, that cradle to career focus. We are really honed in on developing comprehensive and scalable career pathways. To do so, we work with an ecosystem of partners, which includes public, private, and community partners. And through our work with our partners, the idea is that we're continuously improving strategies, and then we're also working to strengthen those long-term outcomes. On my end, I shared with you, I am part of the workforce development team, so I come to you speaking from that lens. But aside from that, our approach, aside from the workforce development side, we also have the systems change approach here at Unite LA. Our work, as we're working with these different stakeholders, the idea is that we're able to amplify the impact that we have in our communities. Through the systems work that we do, the different stakeholders involved, our goal is to ensure that if there are, similar agendas, we're not being siloed. We're working with one another to be able to amplify again, right, the impact that it has in our communities. Aside from that, we also have the advocacy policy piece of Unite LA. We work both on a local platform, regional, state, and federal, advocating to build these equitable frameworks for youth and their families across the greater LA area. I dropped here in the chat box our website. Encourage you to take a look, learn more, get more acquainted with the work that we are doing throughout. Let's see here. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Great, thank you. So with that, I shared with you all, I work within our workforce development area. I shared, right, that our focus is around areas of high mobility, high demand industries. So, to give you some context here, some background information, as to the community need that we're seeking to address. Within our workforce development team, we package our programming under what we call our STEAM career pathways. Within that STEAM career umbrella, the sectors that we are incorporating entail technology, healthcare, and clean tech. So clean tech, this is where the LA Clean Tech Career Academy comes into play. The reason for this is, within the research that we've done, working with our partners, we find that these fields offer broader career pathways, higher wages, and also more stable opportunities for advancement. Through our STEAM careers pathway, our design, again, centered on economic mobility and equity, we try to align our programming to existing real industry needs that are taking place within our area. And then also with the intent of being able to strengthen the regional talent pipeline by engaging our participants, the 16 to 24 demographic, to be able to partake in these programming opportunities that are really centered again on the STEAM umbrella with the intent of advancing that economic mobility and equity. So to dive in a little bit more in to the demographic that we serve, right? So STEAM career pathways, 16 to 24. We work with youth from low income backgrounds, opportunity youth, youth that are systems involved, and other priority populations. Sharing with you here, our programs run year round. They include a continuum of work-based learning, mentorship, as well as providing our participants with access to paid career experiences. Our partners that we work with, employers, educational institutions, workforce boards, and community organizations. We go to that ecosystem of partners to be able to bring in a referring pipeline of youth into our programs. Um, here today during the session, I will be sharing a little bit around the program and design of the Cleantech Career Academy, and then also, some of the inputs for us to really be able to provide more of an equitable, future-ready workforce. But before doing so, wanting to level set in regards to why the Cleantech opportunity matters here within the greater Los Angeles area. Um, Sharing with you here, based off our research, some data, California is projected to create 4 million new clean tech jobs by 2045. In the greater metro LA area here locally, we rank number 2 in the nation for clean energy jobs. California leads the US in clean tech innovation. The challenge for us, though, is that we find that our workforce strategy hasn't necessarily caught up. And with that, the industry sector continues to grow, yet accessible pathways for under and unemployed youth are limited. Part of the reason here is that we find that many of the young people that could definitely be pipelining into these career pathways, just given circumstances, they might be prioritizing their time. Trying to make ends meet, working through low wage roles without opportunities to move up. Many of the participants that come through our program live in qualified opportunity zones. So, zones that are federally defined as low income areas. And so on our end, doing our asset mapping of resources, connecting with our partners, we see that there's a need for a skilled clean tech workforce as it continues to grow. Our intent through our programming is to connect local employers to a motivated yet often overlooked pool of emerging talent. If we could go ahead and move on to the next slide here. And so with that, we'll go ahead here and provide more details on the LA Regional Clean Tech Career Academy. The Clean Tech Career Academy is an initiative that we launched, I would say now, since its inception, when this came to an idea. It's been close to 3 years, maybe 3.5 years. Multi-stakeholder initiative focused on building a diverse, skilled, and economically mobile workforce in LA to meet the growing clean tech sector within our region. The Clean Tech Career Academy, I would say, is a first of its kind program in that we really make it a priority to connect our students that might come from under-resourced communities to not only have access. in the career awareness, career exposure to the clean energy field, the renewable energy space, but also through their participation in our program, our intent is to provide them to access to post-secondary education, as well as being able to provide them with paid work-based learning throughout as they're moving as they're advancing their professional development. Again, as I shared earlier, one of the challenges is that given that they have other responsibilities, they may not be able, might not have the luxury of exploring, right, learning more about what this industry is through the Cleantech Career Academy, which is a paid opportunity. We're able to provide them with that stability so that they can really focus on further exploring, learning more about the renewable energy space. The Unite LA, when we were building the Clean Tech Career Academy, as I've shared with you, with the different stakeholders that make part of this effort, um, are stakeholders that also, share a similar interest of ours. Um, the idea behind the Clean Tech Career Academy is tapping into the different talent, right? The talent pipeline that lives within our region, being able to bring in different diverse perspectives into um, building out, right? Building out more of this talent, um, this workforce, bringing in that diverse perspective in order for us to be able to put a foot forward in solving, one of the toughest problems that we've been addressing here, including the fight against climate change in our region, statewide, nationwide, throughout. I'm going to go here and dive into the details of the Clean Tech Career Academy. Over the 3 years that we've been in operation, we've been able to build a partnership with um, over 50 employer partners. Again, really centering on providing the youth that we're serving with the career awareness, career exposure through education, job readiness training, and that paid work-based learning a model of the Clean Tech Career Academy. If we could go ahead and move on to the next slide. Okay, so sharing here with you our academy overview. The Clean Tech Career Academy, it is a 12-week cohort model. Our target here is a little bit of an older demographic that I mentioned here as I was referencing Unite LA. We focus with our target area is 18 to 24, and I'll share a little bit more as to why that as we continue moving forward here. But we are targeting youth between the ages of 18 to 24. In order for them to participate, they must be a LA County resident. And so we host two cohorts every year. We have one in the spring, we have one in the fall. Across the 12 weeks, just to give you a sense, we just completed our spring 2025 cohort. It ran from March through June of this past year. It's 12 weeks. I would say it's about 10 to 12 hours of commitment time from our students throughout every week. Students meet with us Tuesdays and Wednesdays after school, 4 to 6:30, mainly on Zoom. I would say 75% of programming is virtual. Um, However, we do meet with our students. We do have live in-person touch points throughout the 12 weeks where we bring them in to connect with one another at site visits with employer partners. Um, we have a launch event. We have those site visits that I was sharing with you. And then we also have a culmination event with the intent of providing them touch points to engage with one another, have more of that peer-to-peer learning exchange, and then also, right, have tangible examples in regards to the curriculum that they are working through across the 12 weeks. Um, our students, as I shared, this Clean Tech Career Academy, it is a paid opportunity. Our students earn 17.88 per hour. This is possible through the partnerships that we have with both the city and the county of Los Angeles, as well as state and federal funding where we're able to subsidize and be able to provide the Cleantech Career Academy as a work-based learning opportunity for our students. I shared with you, right? So 4 to 6:30, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's about 5 hours of live virtual learning with the youth that we're serving. They also, it's both, we're connecting synchronous, also asynchronous. There's a curriculum that they follow with different assignments that they have to complete, all aligned to the renewable energy space. And I'll go ahead here and share some slides around what that curriculum entails. Uh, Across the 12 weeks, it's a total of 160 hours. So the amount of earnings, if they're completing, showing up, doing what they need to do, they can earn up to a little over $2,800 throughout the Clean Tech Career Academy. So when we do our outreach, our recruitment to the youth, when we're positioning this opportunity to our partners, we really stress that this is a virtual opportunity where a virtual internship opportunity where students can learn, but also be paid throughout, right? So it really supports with whatever prior commitments that they might have. We're really just trying to provide a platform where our students can be really focused on learning the learn and earn model throughout the process. At the end of the academy, the idea is that having been exposed to the different uh, on ramps, career pathways within the renewable energy space, um, our goal is to position our students where they can pursue internship opportunities. Throughout the weeks here, you'll see this continuum. Again, I'll share here a little bit more in detail as we do the curriculum slides. Our students are learning about the different sectors within the renewable energy industry. Incorporated into the curriculum, we also really stress out the idea. I'm looking here at the chat box. Um, Essential skill sets, right? So expanding here on the soft skills boot camp idea, what does that entail? As I shared earlier, right? Part of my scope of work involves work readiness, job readiness, working with our students to ensure that they have a resume, working with them to develop one, polishing up. We incorporate into our curriculum resume reviews. We also highlight for them how they can position this academy experience into their respective resumes, ensuring that, on paper, they do look like those competitive candidates that those HR professionals, if they were applying for an internship employment opportunity, it would help them stand out. Um, Diving a little bit deeper onto those essential skill sets as part of the curriculum, those first 2 weeks, we host what we call job skills workshops with them. So again, focusing on building, developing the resume, polishing up, ensuring that they are highlighting actionable verbs to showcase their skill sets, working with them on their professional communication, which can range from emails that they might have when applying to jobs, following up, just, they seem very basic, but based off conversations, discussions that we've had with employer partners, our employer partners have highlighted that sometimes the talent that is coming down their way, they don't necessarily feel that they might be proficient in those areas. So continuing here on the professional communication, how they carry themselves via email, in person, how they present themselves, being able to, when, if it gets to an internship opportunity, an employment opportunity, when it's the interview stage, being able to respond to questions in a thoughtful manner. As part of that, we do have mock interviews that we work with our students. In these mock interviews, we bring in industry professionals that tend to be in the HR space, talent development. We work with our students, prepare them with those entry level competencies that industry professionals are looking for. We do a mock interview process, and then the industry professionals that are doing these mock interviews with our students would then provide uh, feedback in areas that might need improvement, areas that they did well, just really focusing, ensuring that, students are able to respond in a concise manner, in a professional manner, in a thorough manner, being able to articulate their thoughts and ideas as part of the process. So all that is embedded. Mainly, we do the weeks 1 and 2, but as the curriculum keeps on moving forward, we do have touch points around those areas, those essential skill sets. I'm seeing here in the chat box as well, financial literacy is part of our curriculum as well. We work with our students for them to have an understanding, having the tools and resources to really position them to have an understanding of financial literacy. And that can range, right? It can range from um, uh, how to budget accordingly, resources available to them so that they can do financial planning as they move forward. Aside from financial literacy, also embedded into the curriculum, we do provide them with college and financial literacy as well as it relates to financial aid for students that are looking to pursue higher ed opportunities, ensuring that they have an understanding of, what the FAFSA is, resources, scholarships, other platforms, resources that they can leverage to help fund their education as they continue moving forward. And so, again, it is braided. It is braided throughout the rest of the curriculum. Um, and I'll share a little bit more when we get to that slide. If we could go ahead and move forward to the next slide, please. Okay, so wanting to share with you here our impact to date as we've been hosting our Cleantech Career Academy. Over the last 2.5 years of actually facilitating the Academy, we have hosted 5 cohorts. We are getting ready here as we move from summer into fall to host our 6th cohort, which will be the fall 2025. Every cohort, we serve about 50 youth. 50 youth participate about, give and take. That is our goal to serve about 50 youth in every cohort. Uh, Participants, while they're with us through those 12 weeks, they engage in work-based learning, professional development sessions, career exploration and awareness through guest speakers. We bring in different industry partners to support our effort in that regard, guest speakers, site visits. We do have group projects focused on building those essential workplace skill sets as well as advancing their knowledge of the renewable energies piece. Since 2023, when we launched, we have graduated over 220 youth with an 86% completion rate. Over the last cohort, we have placed 54 of our graduating participants into internship opportunities. Important to note here, I would say we've seen a lot of growth over the last year in itself. We probably went from, I think I have my numbers correct here, from 18 the first year, 18 placements to 33 this past one. A little bit more, I think it was. But just to give you a sense, right, we've been seeing an increase in the scale of the placement opportunities that we're able to bring our students through the different cultivation of partners that we work with. I do want to highlight here, I know we will have an opportunity here to connect and ask further questions. Joining us here today, we do have our VP of talent development, Bridget Netter, as well as my colleague Pam Williams, who's an executive consultant and helping us cultivate these partnerships. So more to come on that regard. We'll have an opportunity here. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions, and I definitely invite my colleagues here to chime in, right, in questions. And also, team, I know that you are helping me um, kind of gauge some of the questions that are coming in the chat box. So if you see any questions, please go ahead and answer them or flag me here so that I can dive a little bit deeper into providing more intel, more information in that regard. Moving here, moving on to our curriculum. Our curriculum has been developed with the input from industry partners and educators as well. We cover climate change, renewable energy. There is aspects of entrepreneurship here, the different clean fuels that are in play, clean transportation, the electrification of transportation, as well as the green IT space. And then you heard me talk about how we braid. I like that word, how we braid throughout the essential soft skills throughout. As I shared with you, our participants receive stipends. It's 160 hours. Each cohort is 160 hours. And then at the end of the academy, if they graduate, if they complete, they are eligible to apply for a $1,000 scholarship that they can use to continue their studies, whether it be in the clean energy field or just continued education in pursuing a degree, a certificate, any training throughout. Let's see here. What's the next slide? If we could move on to the next slide. So you've heard me talk about the demographics, right? 18 to 24 is our focus of the Cleantech Career Academy. Just to give you a sense here of the youth that we're serving, this slide is based on the numbers from our 2024 cohorts as well, cross-referenced it to the one that we just had here in spring 2025. Um, just to give you a sense of where our participants are coming from, a lot of them are BIPOC youth. Um, uh, Under-resourced communities, you'll see here they come from low income, moderate income. One of the things neat to see here, going back to one of the previous slides as I was sharing what the clean energy, renewable energy field looks like here in Los Angeles. Some of you might have noted that overall, right, there seems to be not so many women in STEAM in the clean tech career pathway. As it relates here to the Clean Tech Academy, the majority of our participants are female, and we've seen that trend throughout, and something that we're really proud of. We work with the different the different community partners, educational partners. We tend to see that more of an interest from women in STEAM as we continue, exploring career pathways within this renewable energy space. Um, and then in regards to the educational level that our students are coming from, we tend to see the majority of them, I would say, they come from the first, second year of college, whether it be at a community college or a four-year institution. The majority of them come from that arena, first, second year college students. Many of them come from an engineering background. We've seen business backgrounds as well. And then the major that we've seen a lot more show up is around sustainability. So just, sharing with you some background in that regard. We also do have some of the students, participants that we serve that are out of school, out of work. They're kind of in transition. Maybe they've graduated high school. They're not too sure what the next step for them would be. And so the Clean Tech Career Academy provides them with a platform for them to explore and learn more about what, clean tech is defined as. If we could move to the next slide, please. And so, sharing with you here, I shared we are going into our sixth cohort. It's been about 2.5 years of actually facilitating the academy. I would say 3 to 3.5 years of planning when this idea was first, brought to amongst our leadership team here at Unite LA. So, you've heard me talk about the student outcomes. Again, our focus is career awareness, career exposure, providing on ramps to our youth to have a better understanding of what clean tech is defined as, what renewable energy space is, what the renewable energy space is. Areas that they can, on ramp to pursue further career pathways should, they decide to. From an employer standpoint, the idea is that, through the different more diverse talent pipeline that mirrors our community here within the Los Angeles area, our clean tech employers are able to be more equitable and inclusive in their hiring and their training and their advancement of opportunities of people of color. For our employers, they're able to also have a stronger alignment between the clean tech career education and training, the labor market opportunities, and the employer needs that they might have in play. Um, when we first kicked this off, we did project what our 3-year program impact would be. The idea was that we would be able to engage, about 30 participating employers in different aspects of our curriculum. Our goal was to have 300 students enrolled. At the end of the 3 years, we're at 224, currently graduated. I would say, we've probably had close to 250 go through the pipeline. And then an area where we continue to look for growth and opportunity. And you'll hear me talk a little bit more about some of the challenges that we've come across in this space is to continue to build on internship and employment opportunities for our students as they continue moving forward. Next slide, please. And just to give you a sense here of our partners, you heard me say, part of the reason that we're able to provide that this model of learn and earn model, provide the Clean Tech Career Academy as a paid opportunity for our students is with the support of our partners. Just to give you a sense, these are some of our sponsors. On the private side, we do receive funding from the City of Los Angeles, the County of Los Angeles through the Department of Economic Opportunity. We also do have subsidized funding that we're able to bring to our students through the state as well as federal money that we have received throughout. If we could move on to the next slide. So you heard me, discuss, we have multi-stakeholder partnerships throughout, giving you a sense, right? We are able to pull a lot of our students from our educational partners, the different community-based organizations that we work, our community partners as well. And then, of course, pulling from our employer partners, our sponsors, educational partners, community partners, we're able to build in also bring in volunteers, industry professionals that can help us advance the curriculum of the Clean Tech Career Academy. Next slide, please. So these were the slides that I was referencing in regards to the curriculum that we focus on. So again, right, this is clean tech, but a lot of the students that we connect with, you heard me say first year, second year college students, majority we've seen engineering majors, entrepreneurship, sustainability, but a lot of our students come in very green to say in their knowledge of what clean tech is defined as renewable energy. We are moving into our sixth cohort, as I shared. The last two cohorts, I feel that our students On my end, I facilitate the day-to-day curriculum with the students that we serve. They're coming in a little bit more knowledgeable of how they define renewable energy, how they define clean tech. So it's been very helpful to kind of have that baseline with the students. But again, right, we take it as, this is an opportunity. It is a career awareness, career exposure, work-based learning opportunity. Our students, it's a safe space for them to have a better understanding of the different career sectors that fall within that renewable energy umbrella. So to give you a sense, right, we share a little bit of what that essential skill set, soft skills boot camp looks like. We tap base into general renewable energy space, defining that for our students. Hydrogen fuels. We then move to solar energy, and with solar energy comes also the storage of that energy. If we could go on to the next slide. And I won't read line by line here, but you have an opportunity to get a sense of what that curriculum and what are some of those student projects that fall within these categories. We touch base on water and wind energy. We've seen here locally, there's been more of a focus around the greening of existing infrastructure, the greening of transportation through our ports, our transportation systems here locally within the greater LA area. Um, also, the greening of construction, the greening of design, the sustainability aspects that go into that as well. And then we also do make it a point to touch base on the innovation and entrepreneurship that makes space here in the clean energy arena with a lot of the startups. One of our partners locally here is the Los Angeles Cleantech Incubator. We partner with them, bring in a lot of their startup companies to share with our students the different opportunities that might be available to them in this kind of, innovative space, bringing in renewable energy into our local communities. And then, of course, as we close out the academy, you heard me say, it's career awareness, career exposure, but also our goal, our end outcome is that we're able to provide access and opportunities for our students to pursue internship opportunities with the different employer partners that we are cultivating throughout, so that they can continue their growth in the renewable energy space, their continued professional development, and continue to have access to these industries of high growth, high demand, high mobility, high economic mobility. If we could move to the next slide. And so, as part of the work-based learning experiences that we share with our students, I shared with you, 75% of our curriculum is online through Zoom. Tuesdays and Thursdays. You'll see here a picture of what that looks like from my end when we are facilitating these sessions. But also, you heard me say embedded throughout, we also want to provide our students with those tangible examples of how this renewable energy is showing up in our communities through the different employer partners. Here we were at a wastewater recycling water treatment plant with one of our partners. An opportunity for our students to be able to take what they're hearing within our virtual classroom and apply and, build connecting touch points to what they're seeing during these employer site visits. And then, while we were going through those curriculum slides, we do have a capstone project just to give you a sense of what that looks like. Our students come from different areas of the Los Angeles County region. They might come from, the city of Los Angeles, the port of Los Angeles, port of Long Beach. Some of our students come from the valley. So what we do is based off where they go to school, where they live in, we identify the neighborhoods, and then we ask them to go into their local communities, do some research, some asset mapping, and gain a better understanding of what some of those environmental injustices within their local neighborhoods are, to identify them. And then based with the different focus areas that we are reviewing as part of the curriculum, we ask them to identify renewable energy solutions to mitigate those challenges, those problems within their local communities. As part of that, they do research, they connect with their local elected officials. As part of their asset mapping, they look into um, uh, positive assets that they might have within their communities to help inform, right? To help inform how they come up with these solutions to mitigate these challenges throughout. So that's kind of the slide there, the picture you see of our two students presenting on their findings around this capstone project. Next slide. And so with that, this goes back into the curriculum. As we kicked off the academy, we make it a point to do survey our students, also survey the employer partners that we work with. Throughout our findings, what we towards the beginning, the first year of us facilitating the Cleantech Career Academy, we found that there are industry certifications that are highly valued by employer partners within this renewable energy space. And among that, right, industry recognized certifications is what I call them. Um, Among that, we found the OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration training, really centering around workplace safety. It's not only pertinent to clean tech, renewable energy space, but also in the healthcare. It cuts across different disciplines, right? So we incorporated these trainings, these certifications as part of our curriculum. As might infer from the curriculum, it is pretty intense. There's a lot involved, packed within those 12 weeks. So where we've been able to, we've incorporated, embedded it into the assignments of those 12 weeks. But some of these certifications we have had to take out and host, on a Saturday, on a weekend, provide the platform for them to be able to come into these training certifications and learn a little bit more in depth. As a way to also continue to build their resume and also be able to really position themselves to be those competitive candidates when vying for these internship employment opportunities with our employer partners in the renewable energy space. So we have OSHA here, and then we also have G-Pro, lead and envision training, really centered around the sustainability, being able to bring in more elements of energy efficiency in the construction and the design areas. Next slide. So with that, you heard me here reference that we do survey our students, we survey our employer partners. We do a pre and post survey at the beginning, at the end for our students. We do weekly surveys also with the idea that we are using the data to inform our programming. We make it a point to have ongoing evaluation touch points for us to be able to measure our impact and also to be able to ensure the quality of our curriculum. And also to help us inform, based off the interest of our students, that we are aligning the curriculum with their career interest, as well as the different opportunities, whether it be internship or employment paid experiences, making sure that we're aligning it with their career interest and training interest throughout. So you'll see here, some of the feedback that we've received that we've been able to quantify. At the end of the Clean Tech Career Academy, our students have shared with us that they feel that they have a stronger awareness and a better understanding of what clean tech is and the different career pathways that encompass this. With that, with the knowledge base, we have also seen as they've shared with us, an increased confidence and motivation for them to further pursue these pathways within the clean energy field. If we could go ahead and transition on to the next slide. Sharing with you some qualitative feedback that we've received from our students. One of the things that I did leave out as we were reviewing the curriculum, as part of the 12 weeks of programming that we do have a career day. We bring in different, employer partners to share the existing opportunities that they have for our students. Based off that, some of the feedback that we have received from our students is that they say that it's, challenging enough for them to go out there within their respective networks at school, within their professional networks to be able to identify these opportunities. They really value the work that we do behind the scenes, with the support of our team here, like Bridget, Pam, being able to cultivate employer partners, being able to cultivate these internship opportunities, employment opportunities. We streamline it again, aligning it to the interests that they're sharing with us, our students are sharing with us, and being able to provide them with those on-ramp opportunities, having more of a frontline approach with those HR professionals or those responsible for doing the hiring. Um, they also help us prepare our students for them to have an understanding of what competencies HR teams, talent development teams are looking for in candidates for their given positions. Um, as you heard me say, we host spring and fall. The fall timeframe tends to be a little bit busier on our end in bringing in opportunities for our students through the career days because that's kind of the open season recruitment outreach period from employer partners as they're getting ready for spring and summer opportunities. In the spring timeframe, a lot of these, when we host our spring cohort, a lot of these opportunities are already available out there. They've already launched. A learning practice on our end. Before we used to have the resume reviews, the mock interviews, a little bit more towards the middle, the end of the 12 weeks. Based off what we've learned from our employer partners and from our students' feedback we've received, we try to kind of pepper that in at the beginning and then also incorporate it throughout so that when opportunities do become available, let's say in the spring timeframe, our students, are quick with their turnaround to be able to apply and pursue those opportunities. Next slide. And so to give you a sense here of some of those internship placements that we've been able to work with our employer partners and place our students. The slide gives you a sense of the type of internship positions, the type of industries, focus areas that we are placing our students in. Sharing with you here some of our success stories. We had a candidate, we had a graduate of the Cleantech Career Academy. She pursued an opportunity with a local municipal water district. Very competitive. It's a 9-month rotation period. She placed in it, and then it was paid. Also, it's paid 9-month internship experience, and then the student was able to go through the different departments that make the municipal water district. We had another student that started as an intern, specifically here, I'll share with you with Veolia North America. She did so great. She then pursued the opportunity to stay on as a part-time employee, which she did. Definitely a big growing professional development experience for her. As part of the work that we do, you heard me say as part, we partner with educational institutions as well. We have a partnership with the West Los Angeles College Climate Change Center. We work with them as well with the County of Los Angeles or Department of Economic Opportunity to be able to provide subsidized internships for students in the summer. This past summer, through our partnership with West LA College Climate Change Center, we placed 16 students, 16 graduating students from our academy, 16 graduates of the academy. And then we've also been able to place 9 of our graduate students into internships with the support of the County of Los Angeles. Next slide, please. As we, as I start closing out here, I bring back this slide, right? Because I do want to highlight the success that we've had over the last 2.5 years, 5 cohorts that we've hosted. We're really, proud of that retention rate of our graduation, being able to pipeline over 220 students through our programming, the number of internships that we, hope to continue moving forward with. A lot of this you heard me say at the beginning, the first year, we were paving our way. We've learned throughout the way best practices. That's my timer here. Last fall, we brought on a case manager that works with our students directly to help support them in ensuring that they're, completing their assignments of the Cleantech Career Academy, um, helping them advance should they have questions. It's really kind of a wraparound approach, but also most importantly, when it comes to these opportunities, our case manager will work with our students to ensure that they have their resumes on deck, helping them prepare also with the team, ensuring that they're able to do well in their interviews. And just again, being that touch point, providing that support to them, answering questions, that they might not be sure of how they address it when they're interested in pursuing an internship or an employment opportunity here. So with that here, right, there's a lot of success in our in our model, in our outcomes. It's that increased career awareness, career exposure for our students. They feel that they have a better sense, a grasp of um, how they define clean energy, the opportunities that reside within these sectors for them. But with that, right, I shared with you, we've learned across the last 2.5 years of programming best practices, but we have also come across some of those challenges. So if we could go ahead and move on to the next slide. So with that, we here, as we move into our third year, our goal is to continue to expand our career pathways. But with that, as we've come across these different challenges that we wanted to highlight here for you. So one of the main, uncertainties, I'm sure that in the line of work that many of you do. One of the biggest challenges here is navigating the economic challenges. It's become a dynamic environment throughout. Specifically here on our end, we work with our employer partners. We're looking for internship positions. We're looking for employment opportunities. Our staff, Pam, in the line of work that she does with the support of the team, we've been really diligent in securing these opportunities for our students, for our graduates. Despite our efforts, though, placement numbers do remain a challenge. Um, Given the economic uncertainty, we've seen downsizing of programming, um, downsizing internally of, the talent of our employer partners. It's led to reduced internship, right? Internship availability, internship programming that might be available to our students. And with that, we see that it's resulting in fewer hiring opportunities for our students and our graduates as well. Um, you heard me make reference that, throughout our curriculum, we do survey, we connect with our employer partners. Our employer partners have been key in helping us inform our curriculum. We go to them also, right? And trying to get a better understanding of what the current hiring needs are, really working with them to focus on um, helping them support, bringing in resources where they can build their talent pipeline programs for early work experience. Going back to this, working with our employer partners, we're looking for their business with their labor insights, what skill sets are required within the respective organizations, how can we align our curriculum in order to fill those needs that they might have for their future workforce. Um, based off the feedback that we've received from our partners, whether it be survey, conversations we have with them, focus groups that we've hosted in the past as well, our employers have shared with us that they do see value in partnerships like the Clean Tech Career Academy. However, again, given this economic uncertainty, there might be a lack of leadership buy-in, a lack of resources on their end. But having communities of practice through the different employer partners that we've been able to bring to the table, we've been able to create, somewhat of a community of practice for these employer partners of ours, where they're able to learn from one another through a peer-to-peer learning exchange. They're really able to connect with one another, and if maybe they don't have the resources or the leverage points to further explore, through what they've learned from one another in the community of practice that we've been able to build is, they have a sense of resources where they can develop or model their own internship programs around. We've provided them tangible examples of how they can promote diversity in entry level hiring and recruitment. And so, again, the idea is how can we support one another in advancing these STEAM career pathways targeting high growth industries, as well as providing access for underserved populations throughout. And with that, if we can go ahead and move on to the next slide. So again, right, you heard me say as a team here, our focus is to ensure that we are always able to expand career pathway opportunities for our students, for our graduates. We continue to, be diligent in our work, putting our inputs, trying to cultivate relationships, opportunities for our students. As we move forward here, given some of the challenges that we've encountered, one of the main areas priorities on our end is that we continue to focus on and continue to expand our Clean Tech curriculum to ensure that it's aligning with current industry demand. As part of our research, we are really seeking to deepen our market analysis so that we are able to identify what those in-demand renewable energy jobs might be. For example, right, what we've seen more and more is the continued need for the grid modernization, the greening of infrastructure, whether it be with construction design, our aging infrastructure with water, the electrical grid. Here in the Los Angeles area, we had the wildfires in January. There's been a big pivot into building out what that's going to look like for the future and the greening of that infrastructure and the greening of the construction, the design of the rebuilding of Los Angeles. We also have the upcoming Olympic Games in a couple of years here in our region. With that, we've seen more of a focus around the greening of transportation, electrification of transportation. I don't know if I'm sure many of you have heard access into the games, the Olympic Games, no cars will be allowed. So, right, we've seen more of a focus from our employer partners throughout as it relates to that. How can we be more efficient and impactful in bringing in these opportunities? We recognize that there are emerging opportunities in the infrastructure space, in the transportation space, as well as the supply chain. So as we move forward here in the next couple of cohorts into the next year, that will be one of the focus areas on our end. And with that, if we could go ahead and move on to the next slide. I will focus on here into the chat box. I know Pam and Bridget, you've helped monitor some of the questions that were coming in on that end. But to share here with you, encourage you to visit our website. I know that this deck will be shared with our audience here, our participants here today. But encourage you to take a look at the Cleantech Academy website, and I just dropped in the link there as a point of reference. And with that, Dr. Hills Thomas, I'll transition it back to you to see here if we have questions based off our overview of the Academy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Geraldine, for a very robust presentation with lots of great information. We appreciate your participation. We do have questions, so I'm not going to prolong the time. I'm going to dive right in. I do know Bridget and Pamela were addressing some of the questions that came up in the chat. So if you have a question and it did not get addressed in the chat, please move it to the question and answer function of Zoom. So Jordan asks, could you expand on the soft skills boot camp? What does that entail? And are soft skills only trained in the first 2 weeks, or are there skills braided into the rest of the curriculum involving technical skills?
Yeah, so I think I addressed that question as we were going through the curriculum again, right? Aside from career awareness, career exposure in the renewable energy space, we want to make sure that our students are competitive when vying for these opportunities. So working with them throughout with the resume touch points, polishing up their resumes, working with them on their interviewing skill sets, how they present themselves, how they also their online presence, right, is one of the areas that we touch base with them on. One of the other areas, aside from kind of supporting their development to be work ready, job ready, we work with them also. And there's opportunity for us to expand in that regard. Working with them, what happens once they're actually in a workplace, how, skill sets for them to be contributing partners in the workspace that they might find themselves in, how they communicate with their colleagues, how they communicate, interact with their supervisors. One of the big areas that we've incorporated into our curriculum is the importance of networking. So throughout, when we do have our different guest speakers join in, we do have a work plan. We call it it's somewhat of a syllabus, right? That's how we relate it to them. It's, our work plan, your syllabus. When we do host employer partners, we do highlight, we include our speakers' LinkedIn profiles. And then as part of their assignments, we encourage them to do informational interviews, really get them out of their space for them to be able to learn from industry professionals that are coming into place, but also working with them on their communication skill sets when they're working when they're working with their peers on those capstone projects. They have to be very creative in how they engage because we are virtual, but then there's also elements that involve their in-person touch points. So how they communicate, how they set expectations, work plans in order to ensure that they're advancing their capstone project expectations as well. So very big on that end, right? Ensuring that they are well-rounded, strong candidates so that they can succeed not only in placing, but also doing well um, within their placements in the internships. I referenced our case manager. Also, one of the aspects that our case manager does once they've actually placed in the internship opportunity, he does have biweekly touch points with our students, with our graduates to ensure that, they understand. If they have any questions, we support in that regard so that it's a good experience, not only for them, but also for our employer partners that are helping us support these internship opportunities.
Thanks, Geraldine. The next question is, what have you found is the best way to engage an employer?
So with the employer partners, Pam, I'll go ahead and kick off here, and then I welcome your feedback as well. When we cultivate our employer partners, I would say it's a continuum of partnership touch points. If it's a new employer partner, it's definitely having that introductory call, sharing with them, our outcomes, right, on the employer side, on the student side, the purpose behind the Cleantech Career Academy, how it falls into the larger ecosystem. But oftentimes, right, they also want to have a better understanding of what the Clean Tech Career Academy looks like on the front line. So we have found it beneficial to engage them first in kind of those entry level touch points where they come in and engage as a career speaker on a career day. They host us as part of a site visit. They come in and provide mentorship to our students as they're advancing their capstone project. Those are ways for them to get a sense and a better understanding of kind of what the intent is of the Clean Tech Career Academy. And then, they get in there and they see the talent that we're also building, our students' interest, how committed they are. And I would say, for lack of a better word, it's a hook to also, engage them into bigger, more complex, more involved touch points. And Pam, I'll transition it here to you.
Also, one of the ways we've engaged some of our employers that haven't interacted much with the students is at our graduation. At the end of each cohort, we have a pretty formal graduation session, a celebration of the students. We have guest speakers, the students speak, the students present their capstone project. It's on poster boards, maybe 8 or 10 of them. 8 or 10 poster boards. So the employers walk around, they get to talk to the students, and the students give them a 2, 3 minute presentation on their capstone project. So that interaction really does give the employer a sense of what the students are learning from the program and how professional, they don't know where they started, but they certainly do see how professional and capable they are.
Thank you, Pamela. We'll move on to the next question, which is because the training schedule does not mimic a typical job schedule, how do you help students transition from a part-time, mostly virtual training to full-time employment?
So our experience, where we're at right now, right, is mainly being able to pipeline our students into internship experiences. So it's more of a part-time approach. Our program is virtual for the most part. After school programming, a lot of the students, participants that make up our program are in school, they have work commitments. Um, when we kick off the academy, we tell them, we really need you to treat this as if this was an internship opportunity live in person. The same expectations are required where you're showing up on camera, you're engaging, you are staying responsive to your peers, us, from a facilitation standpoint um, uh, you know, setting those expectations, right? We share with them these are expectations that are required, expected in a real life setting. And across the essential skill sets that we're developing with our students, I think it's really ingrained in them that there has to be a professional demeanor throughout, right? And I think it's carried over into their commitment with the internship opportunities that they might partake in. And then as they're jumping into these internship opportunities, employment opportunities, we also, through the support of our case manager, will connect with them and, kind of level set of what those expectations are. When we're working with our employer partners, we also, suggest to them, recommend that those type of touch points should happen at the beginning so that everyone is fully aware of what's to take place. Again, part of our successes of the academy is ensuring that we continue to cultivate our employer partners um, uh, with a good demeanor, a good experience on their end for them to come back and, for it to continue to be a reciprocal type of relationship throughout.
Thank you, Geraldine. Can you share more about what your typical budget looks like to run the program or a per student cost?
Let's see here. Bridget, are you still on? Might you be able to address that question? I see in the chat box. You
Yeah,
did a little
I'm
bit.
happy to address the question. And Dr. Janelle Hills-Thomas, thank you again for providing this place and space for the conversation and connectivity with your colleagues here at IREC to take place. At Unite LA, the Cleantech Academy is really about continuous improvement. Right now, we operate this program on a budget of about $1 million, a little more than $1 million annually. We support about 100 students through the academy. It's a very high touch point academy, and it's really set up with an intentional kind of framework to ensure our students' success. So as we look at continuous improvement and building out our programs to align with apprenticeships and to establish it as an apprenticeship, we're envisioning obviously increased costs for things like industry aligned training, on the job training, aligned with those pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship requirements. So I hope that answers your question. Right now, we're about a little more than $1 million of an annual operating budget for this program.
Thank you, Bridget, and you're very welcome. It's our pleasure to have you present such a dynamic program. The next question is, does your program require a driver's license? If not, do you see any gaps transitioning youth to employers requiring this?
So, good question. No, we do not require a driver's license. I've said this, our program is for the most part virtual. When we do have our site visits, sharing here with you, we will provide stipends, ride share stipends. A lot of our students, um, you know, come from under-resourced communities. They might not have a car. So we try to meet them where they're at, right? If we have a site visit, one of the first things that we think through is ensuring that it's in not close proximity, central proximity to transportation lines, public transportation. We incorporate rideshare reimbursement so they can Uber, they can Lyft. In the past also, sometimes we have students meet up at a location, a central location, and then we've commissioned bus transportation, right? So we'll all carpool to an employer site and then bring them back from there on. As they've transitioned into internship opportunities, again, setting expectations, we work with our employer partners to be responsive to some of the needs that our students might have. So it might be that limited transportation. In the case that they need to be out in the field, it has been our experience with one of our partners this summer. They have to have accessibility to come into their headquarters office. And then um, I can't recall, but it might vary. It might vary, but if there are any expectations like that where they need a driver's license, um, we want to make sure that our students are in full understanding of that and putting it at the forefront, so that it aligns with, their ability and capability of meeting those. But from a standpoint here, we try to do rideshare reimbursements, bus transportation, and trying to, make these site visits to be in a central proximity throughout the
And
region, throughout LA.
yeah, I would just add that California is really a car-driven city. So we find that most of our students come to us with driver's license. So it doesn't present much of a challenge generally.
And Pam, you can share a little bit more about how we're intentional about how we prepare our students when applying for work experiences, that we are working alongside them to ensure that they understand what the requirements are. So if there are transportation requirements that would prevent challenges for them, then we're working alongside them to help mitigate those challenges, be it through some sort of rideshare voucher or some other mechanism, or even assessing whether or not that particular opportunity is the best fit for them.
Absolutely. So, but when we work with our business partners to provide internships for our students, we spend quite a bit of time with them understanding the scope of the work the student will be doing, as well as all of the requirements, whether it's, in today's world, a lot of jobs have transitioned to be in the office a few days and virtual a few days. So we work very closely with the employer to understand what their needs are and what their requirements are, so that we provide a match with a match between our graduate or our student and the employer. And then if there is a gap, we try and bridge that gap for them.
Thank you. We have about 7 minutes left in the webinar, and we have technically 3 more questions, but I think you've already addressed one regarding employer partners. So we'll skip to the last one after this question. Suzanne Key says, it seems like your students already have a post-high school education. I would assume that training materials are then fitted to a slightly more educated group. How do the mere high school grads fare?
So, going back here to the demographic we serve, right? 18 to 24. When we first kicked off the academy, I believe our initial cohort was 16 to 24. We had some sophomores, we had some juniors in high school, and of course, seniors. Our challenge with that 16 to 24 demographic was that when internship opportunities came about, our employer partners, because of, liability situations, they have to be 18 and over, right, to meet, to fall in line with employment laws and things of that nature. So we amped it up after the first cohort to 18 to 24. We do say they can be a high school senior, but they do have to be 18 to 24. We tend to see a lot more of those high school students graduating high school senior in the spring timeframe. They fare very well. I feel the high school student or the student that just graduated high school or is in between also is looking eyes, ears open to different opportunities. They're very receptive, they're very responsive, they're very engaged. It might be because, again, they might be in transition, they don't have other commitments also in play that might be impacting their availability, their engagement. But they're very responsive, very focused, and they do really well. We are impressed, from our standpoint and how they step up to the plate. And also, it's definitely a good learning experience for them as well to learn from their peers, to, continue their professional development. Many of them, I will say, if they're the high school senior graduating in between, they might not have had as much experience with public presentations. As part of the capstone presentation, our students do have to present to their classroom, to our employer partners. The networking piece is where we work with them with the support of our case manager on my end, with the support of the team, checking in with them to ensure that they're understanding what's on deck, what's expected of them, and working with them also, right, to kind of build up that confidence. But very in tune, very responsive, and very eager and open to learn, both from peers and then also from the different professionals that we're bringing into the program curriculum.
Geraldine, did
And
you touch
I
upon
just want to,
the peer coaches as well?
Yeah, so
yeah.
aside from our case manager, we also have our coaches that help us facilitate and advance the Cleantech Career Academy. On average, we have 2 to 3 career coaches. They are kind of roving throughout the different touch points assignments of the Cleantech Academy, touching base with groups, with students, ensuring that they're understanding what the assignments are, what the expectations are. Again, they're there to provide that peer-to-peer support. And, they tend to be within the age range of our students, maybe a little bit older, but our students relate to them, right? So we want to make it a safe place. Again, we tell our students this is a place to learn, and it's a safe place for you to ask questions, as we're all, together throughout the journey.
Sounds great, thank you. And the last question is, and I think you've kind of touched on this with the question previous to this one, what percentage of participants are enrolled in college while participating? And we
Yeah.
have 3 minutes left in the webinar.
Okay, sounds good. The majority of our students are, the demographic, they are part of community colleges or the four-year institutions, close to about 70%.
Yeah.
70% of them come from the higher education space. Bridget, were you going
Great.
to say something?
No, I was just going to say, does it include also the community college and higher
Yeah.
ed
Mhm.
demographic number? Geraldine,
Mhm.
somewhere about 70%.
Yeah, so 50% from four-year institutions, about 34% from two-year community colleges.
So
And the
that's about 80%,
Mhm.
84. Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Thank you for presenting, Geraldine. Thank you for joining Pamela and Bridget. We appreciate your participation in the National Clean Energy Workforce Alliance webinar. We hope you can come back to attend the webinars in the future if you haven't attended any before. To the participants who are still with us, thank you for your time. We appreciate you supporting this webinar series, and we look forward to you all joining us for the next webinar. Have a great day.
And
Thank
thank you
you.
again. We really appreciated the opportunity to be in community here with you virtually today. Thank you, team. Thank you, Geraldine.
Thank you,
Thank you, Pamela.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.